How long have you been interested in investing in real estate? You see, most people I meet, they caught the bug a really long time ago, but never took action for one reason or another. And in today's video, I want to share with you the 3 reasons that keep people from investing. Because if you can get over that now versus wasting another 5 or 10 years, that's 5 or 10 more years of financial freedom that you have the chance to experience. I look forward to sharing that with you next.
'Cause we're gonna be legends. What we're doing here ain't just scary. It's about to be legendary.
So there's that scene in Back to the Future Part 2 where all of a sudden Marty McFly goes back to his normal time, but Biff, his nemesis, is like this crazy megalo billionaire, all because he got his hands on this almanac so that when he went back, he could basically make all these bets and do all these things and predict the future and could make a lot of money. When I watched that movie, I'm like, dude, I would love to have like an almanac from the future telling me what to do today. And in some interesting ways, you actually have that. Like you and I have the ability to look at what people have done that we know will create success. And one of the things, this channel attracts a lot of young people, so I want you to listen up right now. That right now, more millionaires are created on accident in real estate than any other game. They didn't do it by coming up with some like tech company. They didn't launch a business. They literally bought real estate and then held it for 30 years and one day woke up and they're like, oh my gosh, that house has appreciated hundreds of thousands of dollars. And for some people, they'll work an entire 40-year life. And then when it comes time to retirement, the only reason why they have some basic concept of retirement is because they actually have a ton of equity in their home. I figured this out when I was 22 years old. And I'm like, man, how would you like to wake up 60 years old and say, I wish I had bought 5 more. I wish I had bought 10 more. And I said, I need to figure out how to hack that. Now, how it went down for me is I actually bought my very first house when I was in college. I was 23 years old when I closed on it. And this tiny little bungalow, I rented out the basement and it covered my entire mortgage for free. What was cool about that is I went from throwing $400 away every month for a hole in the ground space to rent. And now I was actually getting paid to live because that basement paid for everything. But you see, that house also had $40,000 of equity. And by the time I sold it, even when I was still living in it, I'm like, wow, I've improved my personal financials $50,000. And I thought, if this is working at the age of 23, then how many times would I need to do that to be a millionaire? And I'm like, dude, if I made 50 grand a house, and if I did 20 houses, I would have $1 million. So my next house, I went in and I said, I'm gonna do this deliberate. This is a house that I actually owned for 10 years. And during that 10-year period of time, I made over $150,000 on it. Now just think about that for just a moment. Just by buying a house, this isn't even a part-time job, and holding it, $150,000. When I started realizing the pattern that, wait a second, I can work and give the best 40 hours every week to a JOB, a just over broke job, or I can have a job and have it power my investments on the side. I started buying these homes and realizing if I just rent them out, that in time what would happen is I would have cash flow off of each one of them, but more importantly, I would become a multimillionaire. And that's what happened. By the age of 26, I had 25 properties and I had $12,000 a month residually after mortgages were paid that were coming to me. And so I quit my job. And with a 1.6 million net worth, I thought, man, if 25 homes produces that, then I should buy 50. So you know what I did that next year? I doubled my portfolio. Guess what happened to my net worth? Guess what happened to my cash flow? It just kept going up and up and up. Today, every single day I buy a house. But I don't use any of my own money and I don't use any of my own credit because I have a track record and it just keeps on growing. I have access to the very best investments in the world today. So here's the missing principle that will hopefully get you actually buying and investing in real estate. And that single word is leverage. Leverage is what makes my life what it is today. I'm going to talk about leverage in a few different ways that I think will be life-changing for you. So hang tight, because at the end of this video, I've got a gift for you. And I want to share a piece of knowledge that I think is going to really mess with what you really think is possible. So think about leverage for a moment. When I bought this first house, I put down a 3% down payment, but I bought it as an investment. So when you buy your own house, you can get away with putting very little down. So I put down, I think, $3,000. And if you think about $3 grand returning 65 grand, what kind of ROI is that? It's crazy huge because the more leverage you have, the more you can make. But leverage also has to be controlled. So for example, let's say that I use leverage to buy $1 million house and the market goes down and I lose half the value, I'm upside down. Now I'm in a really bad way. But if I buy single family homes and if I buy them below the median and I use my lease option strategy, I'm gonna get paid $5,000 up front, $500 a month cash flow, and maybe $50,000 plus when I sell that property. And the question is, how much money do I have to put down to get an investment property? Usually it's 20%. 20% on a $150,000 house is going to be probably $30,000 to $40,000. So $30,000 to $40,000 is also a lot of money. How do you get $30,000 to $40,000 when you don't have it? Not only do you have the leverage of the bank's money willing to lend 80% of it, but you can also leverage a partner with money and have them put the 20% in. Their 20% and the bank's 80% is 100%. Everything's covered. Leverage changes everything. And I want you to understand this one little thing. It doesn't matter what you have. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how much credit you have. It doesn't matter how many resources you have. This is a game of how resourceful can you become. This is why I mentor people and teach them how to be resourceful and how to find yeses and answers when they're stuck every other which way. So here's what I really want you to get out of this game. I want you to understand that if you get in the game of real estate and you produce leverage, that you have the ability to walk into some fantastic deals. But you see, I'm also leveraging now other people's time. I'm leveraging other people's skills. I'm leveraging other people's experience. So I have a team of 200 individuals that get paid to help me find the very best deals in the country. And I'm leveraging them and they're getting paid to do that. And for me, it means that I can buy a house every single day. My bonus idea for you here is to understand this. Whether you've got no money at all, I want you to get a copy of my brand new book. It's a book I wrote 15 years ago that I just updated for today's economy called The Straight Path to Real Estate Wealth. It's not my unstoppable book. This is my full-blown actual book. I'm giving it away for free. Get a copy of that and read it, and it will show you if you have no money, how to get in the game of real estate and win. For those of you that are like, well, I really don't feel like I have money, but Kris, I have those hidden assets. I've got money in 401ks and IRAs and home equity and IRAs and stock market stuff. It doesn't really feel like it's mine because I'm not supposed to touch it, but it's also not paying me. It's not doing anything for me. You can transition that into the game of real estate. There's another link down below for you to look at partnering, where I will actually give you access to the very best deals and simply have you go from making a pathetic 3 or 4 or 5% to actually producing 25, 28, or 30% on your money on real deals. I've done it thousands of times. So whether you got nothing like when I got started or whether you got something, you got a couple of options there down below in the description that will help you get started. Friends, walk away from this video and do this one thing. Get a home, but do it smart and do it right. And if you do, one day you're gonna wake up and say, oh my gosh, that did so much good for me. I wish I had bought more. But no, time machine, I watched Kris's video and it was like the almanac. And I went and I bought 10 of them. And as a result, now I'm a millionaire. That could very easily be you. Take care, my friends. Thank you for watching. Subscribe. I'll see you on tomorrow's video.